Jill Aitken. Jill Aitken earned her BSc Honours in Marine Biology at Dalhousie University in Halifax, Nova Scotia. She stayed at Dalhousie to study her MSc in Biology and was awarded the Governor-General's Gold Medal for the highest academic achievement in the Faculty of Graduate Students. After a stint working as a biologist in Uganda, East Africa with the Canadian International Development Agency, CIDA, Jill went to King's University of Cambridge to study for a PhD in zoology. Jill now works in the field of healthcare as the owner and director of the Toronto West location of Retired at Home Service, providing in-home support and care for senior citizens. Since her time in Africa, Jill has also been actively involved in charitable work for East Africa causes. She lives in Toronto with her husband and 3 children. Please put your hands together for Jill Aitken.
Okay, thank you. Empowering girls and mental toughness. Okay, let's start with the definition. To empower is to make someone stronger and more confident, especially in controlling their life.
Yeah.
I bet we've all heard in some way someone talk about someone else saying their life is just out of control. They're just out of control. Your life is out of control. How would we go about controlling our life? So there's some things in life that we can control and some things we can't. So let's look at some things we can't control. Other people. So we've just heard a little bit from the panel, people saying that they were getting a lot of negative opinions from other people. We really can't control other people. Some people might go through their whole life trying to control a spouse or trying to control your children. In reality, we can't. If our parents wanted to go out tonight and drink 15 beer each, we can't do much about it. And if our brother went to school last week and made a fool of himself, we can't do anything about it. It's control of other people. Illness. This is something else we really can't control. Some people are born with a heart defect. We can't control that. When I think about my high school, I was in a small town in rural Newfoundland, and we had a small high school and a small graduate class. And it was grade 9, 10, 11, 12. And right throughout high school, we were waiting to be the oldest in the school. Couldn't wait for our grade 12 year. It was just going to be excellent. I had a great group of friends, great group of activities. It was just going to be excellent. So grade 12 came, and 2 weeks into my grade 12 year, my father had a heart attack. And then 48 hours after, he had a stroke, and he was physically disabled. And he was in the hospital for about 6 weeks, and my mother was there in the hospital the whole time. She was looking after him. 6 weeks in the hospital, and then he was moved to a rehab institute, a 5 hours drive away from our house. So it wasn't like we didn't live in a city, we lived 5 hours away from the city. So my parents went there for about 6 months. And so this grade 12 year that was going to be the best year ever wasn't. And my life was turned upside down. I still went to class and I still went to school and we got through, but my parents were not with me, and I was really in fear just for the whole time that I was going to get a phone call that my father was going to be dead. And so it wasn't the great year after all. It was basically out of my control. The weather is something else we can't control. If it rains tomorrow, we can't control it. Our height. This is something we can take vitamins and we can eat a nutritious diet, but we really can't control that. One of my best friends ever that I've known since the age of 3, she's 5'1", and she put in as her ambition in her high school grad book is that she wanted to be a 6 foot tall, gorgeous blonde. So things we can't control, our thoughts. So this, the panel that was so articulate and so thoughtful as they touched on this a little bit. So our thoughts, we have negative thoughts and we have positive thoughts. So many things about our negative thoughts really affect us. So let's just think of anger and how destroying anger can be. Jealousy, worry. People can be so worried that it gets physically manifested in their body. Their physical body can change because they're worried so much. Anxiety, depression, these are all thoughts. So it's not easy to control, but a high level of control can be achieved. A Buddhist monk has a high level of control of their thoughts. They meditate so much that they can control their thoughts. They're not having big bursts of anger or mood-altering thoughts. So our thoughts feed into our decisions. So if you think, I'm not smart enough to go to university, I'm just not smart enough, I can't do it. I'm not doing well now and I can't do it. So that's a thought, it's a negative thought. And how is it going to determine our decision? Well, we won't investigate university and probably won't go. So our thoughts feed into our decisions and our actions. So our thoughts are powerful, very powerful. So if they're feeding into our decisions and our actions, well, they're probably determining the course of our life. So where do our thoughts come from? What other people say about us, what other people say to us, what we think they say about us, what we think they think about us. This can go on and on. It is huge. Right? We've heard that from the panel. What other people say about us, it can be so destroying. So I remember in September of my grade 11 year, I was looking for sponsorship for the Terry Fox Run. So I wanted to do the Terry Fox Run, but you know, you have to get some kind of minimum pledge, and I didn't have it. I was always terrible at getting sponsorship, didn't want to ask people for money, but I wanted to do the Terry Fox Run, so I needed the money. So I was standing, I went into the admin office of our high school, and I saw a teacher there, and I will admit that this teacher and I, we didn't have a great rapport. He didn't think a lot of me, and I didn't think a lot of him. That wasn't really public, but that was it. So I saw him, and I said, you know, Mr. So-and-so, would you be able to sponsor me for the Terry Fox Run? And he said, yes. So he was standing and taking his hand out of his pocket, and there was change in his pocket, and it fell on the floor, and it rolled on the floor. And I had a piece of paper or something in my hand, and I stepped back to see where the change went. And he bent over and went, oh, that's right, Jill Aitken doesn't bend for anyone. And so I was 16, and you know, you come from rural Newfoundland, we have a reputation for being very generous and giving. And I thought I was a generous person, and my parents were very generous and very giving, and for him to say that to me, that I didn't bend for anyone. So that means that I would never put myself out for another human being. I was really stunned, and you know, I can remember blushing and going a bit numb, and I just left the office. And that one comment, what was it? It was like 6 words. That stayed with me for years. I would say I thought about that for probably 10 years. And now it's over 20 years, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm still telling people. So that's how powerful what other people say to us. You know, the things that other people say to us, how it can shape how we feel about ourselves, and therefore our decisions and our actions. So it's largely out of our control, isn't it, what other people think or say? So the best thing that we can do is try to ignore it, and of course that is very difficult. That teacher should never have made that judgment call on a 16-year-old, and that was kind of a minor event, you know, it was uncalled for, but it had lasting effects. So the media. So this is more for young girls than speaking to young men. And I'm sure it affects young men, but the media, it's been shown that it is really, really hurting young girls. And I think it hurts women in general, but it really hurts young girls as well. So I'll show you the picture. Okay, so this is Kendall Jenner. So this is one of the kind of Kardashian group of people. And she is she's the newest Victoria's Secret model. So, you know, if you have it all that physically, you can be a Victoria's Secret model. So she is the newest Victoria's Secret model. And I don't have a pointer, but I need to say that she is photoshopped. So her thigh right here has been decreased, and her arm has been slimmed out, and her back has been slimmed out to make her stomach look thinner, and her jaw has been sharpened. So if a Victoria's Secret model, oh, there. Okay, so you know her jaw right here has been sharpened. So if a Victoria's Secret model has to be slimmed and photoshopped, and then this is the advertisement that is coming to us as, don't you want this dress? Don't you want your hair to look like that? And don't you want to look like this? It is an impossible situation. And the advertising industry is spending billions. And it's thought that young girls are shown 400 to 600 of these images every single day. I don't know how, but 400 to 600. And it's impossible, and this is hurting us. So it's powerful, and it is everywhere. And it knows how to get you. They know. And so what we can do about the media, well, we can control our exposure to it, try our best to not have it around so much. So social media, I know we just had a talk about how wonderful social media is, but to young girls, social media is not doing that well either. Facebook. Facebook is shown to cause depression. Young girls probably already know this. It's shown to cause depression. Why? Maybe because you look at what other people are posting in their life and you think, oh, everyone gets to go to Disney World twice a year, and look at the car that they got, and her hair is just perfect. And how did she get a boyfriend just like that? So it causes depression. It is difficult. And it's shown to lower self-esteem. Maybe because you look and you think their life is just awesome and mine sucks. So I think Facebook can really do that to you. So if your involvement with Facebook is possibly causing depression or self-esteem issues, something else, it's also a risky venue for exposing yourself to other people's opinions. So we just talked about how terrible other people's opinions can really hurt you. What if you buy a new dress and you take a selfie of yourself and you put it up on Facebook and someone makes a bad comment about it? Ouch. Or you don't get any likes. Yeah. Right, it hurts. Just like you shouldn't have put it up there maybe. Okay, and then of course it's addictive. So something that's causing depression and low self-esteem is also addictive. I mean, you can say that about alcohol. Alcohol causes depression. If you're over drinking, you probably have a low self-esteem, and it's also addictive. So should we put Facebook in under that category? Okay. All right, a review. There's no test, but this is just a review. So we can control our thoughts. We can. It's difficult, yes, but you may spend your whole life trying to do it. And there's negative input coming in, making harmful, disruptive, or distracting thoughts. If you're doing your homework and you're almost done, and then you open your phone and you see something on social media that gets you angry or jealous, then what's going to happen to your homework that you didn't finish? You might go back and do it. It's kind of disruptive. And if you are having a lot of negative input, from just say allowing, from what other people are telling you about yourself or saying, and then from the media. What kind of decisions or actions will you make? Probably not great ones. So reduce exposure is one way, one approach you can take to help with this. So I would say from my personal life, I have taken an extreme approach. So I personally am not on social media. I don't have time for it. I have 3 children. I'm married. I have a house to run. And I have a business to run. So I can't even keep up with my email, not alone be checking social media for what other people are posting. I don't have time. 2, we don't have a TV in our house. And so I'm not getting commercials either. So that's one way. I can't even pick up a magazine anymore. And I look at the advertisements in it and I lose patience with it. So just getting to a point in my life where I thought I'm reducing exposure to these things. So I understand that if you were a teenage girl, it would be almost impossible to say no to social media. So I do understand that. But maybe if you can think, if it does bother you, can you do something about it? Mental toughness. So controlling your thoughts and maybe stabilizing them. So just having an idea of what are the negative influences coming into your head. You can stabilize them. You can start getting mentally tough. When you can stop the mental or the negative input or that negative voice in your head, you can increase your focus and start working harder. I think it was Andrea that was talking about when she discovered something that she really wanted to do in college. She thought, this is it, this is what I'm doing. So focus and work hard. And it's, in reality, it's applying yourself. It's giving something your absolute best effort. So I've just told you that when my grade 12 year wasn't what was expected, I did okay. I still turned up to school every day, even though my parents weren't around. I would say that my house was empty, so I did throw a few parties that year and had a bit of a good time. But I wrote my exams and I did okay. I did absolutely okay. But I was going to university. My older brother, my older sister went to university, so it was expected that I would. It was just, and I expected that I was going to go. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't even know. I wasn't on fire for anything, and I just wasn't inspired. So I went to the local university and I did a foundation in science year, and it was boring. And I wasn't interested. It was like just the basics of chemistry, the basics of calculus. It was the basics, and it was boring. And I got through it. I turned up here and there, and I wrote the exams, and I didn't do really well, but I still got through it. And then in my second year of university, I thought, okay, I left my home province and I went to Nova Scotia, and I started a new university, and I started a business course. And it wasn't until I got into like economics and accounting, I thought, oh, this is not for me. This is not for me. I'm better off being back in science, absolutely. And so I got through that year, didn't do brilliantly, wasn't really inspired, but stayed in Halifax. I went to Dalhousie. And so this is a picture of Dalhousie. It's right by the ocean. And I started marine biology there. And even still, so this is 3 years, 3 universities, not doing great track record. I remember still, kind of not really turning up to class, and I just was half-hearted about it completely. And I was standing, in this building, and I was standing in a cell biology class, and I got my midterm back, and I got 63. And in high school I was an A student, and people thought I was smart, and I kind of thought I was smart, and I thought, what am I doing? Barely even went to class. I'm standing here. It's year 3. It's the 3rd university. And just what is wrong? What am I doing here? I'm 63. I'm just wasting money and getting by, all that kind of stuff. So that night I had a little mini tape recorder, and I thought one of my problems with cell biology is that the professor was speaking so quickly, my hand couldn't keep up with it. I just couldn't take the notes, couldn't do it. And I took that tape recorder and I brought it back to the next class and I taped the professor. He spoke so quickly, so 50 minutes. And I took it home that night and listened to it. And I started writing out the notes and stopping the tape and rewinding it and going and going. It took me 3 hours to get 50 minutes of him talking out. And I got 9 full pages of notes. And before I was taping it off, I was only getting 3 kind of pages that I didn't really understand. So I saw how much I was missing. And it just gave me an idea that I wasn't studying very well, I wasn't attending class all the time. I was just scraping the surface of the whole experience of university. I just wasn't doing well at all. So writing out, getting those 9 pages of notes, I remember reading them and thinking, this is kind of interesting. Like, and I think I actually understand it. And I took that approach with cell biology and with some of the other courses that I did too, that I couldn't keep up with the note taking. I just couldn't write fast enough. And for the final exam for cell biology, I got a 97%. And I thought, ooh, I even read the textbook, you know? So I was like, okay, this is working. I think I've cracked it. I think I know now how to actually turn up and do well. And it took a lot of work. It did. I even broke up with my boyfriend because I decided that this is what I am doing. I am putting all my time and effort into these courses, and I think I figured out how to do it, and I'm going to do it. And so it was basically, I had found how to apply myself. Focus and hard work. And so what happened? My confidence started growing because I wasn't afraid of courses anymore, because I thought no matter what it was, I could attack it. I knew the method. It might take me a long time, but I knew the method. And I had a course just shortly after that I got the highest mark out of like 65 people, and I got a scholarship. And the world will open up to you, I promise you. It will, because your confidence is growing, you can apply yourself, you're starting to really move forward, and opportunities will come. I remember walking into the lab one day at Dalhousie, and I had worked with a professor on a tracking system, like tagging and tracking animals in the ocean. And I remember someone had called Dalhousie, and they were from New Zealand, and they wanted someone to go down there to set up the tracking system. And at the time, I wasn't married, I didn't have children, and I was footloose and fancy free, so I went to do it for 6 weeks, and it was just a fantastic opportunity. Just about anything is possible. I think a lot of people sitting at that panel would have said the same thing. Once you really start getting into your groove and you know that you can focus, so decrease your distraction and really apply yourself, things really start to happen. Right, applying yourself. Now there may be some teenagers that you know, or maybe even some here, that know this already. They know that they can work hard, focus, and really get somewhere. They know it already. I didn't figure it out till I was 23 years old. I talked to a friend of mine the other night. She said she didn't know until she was 40. So people are at different stages. So what I would like to say for the young people in the room is that you may not have figured this out yet. You may not know how to apply yourself. So don't sell yourself short. You haven't worked it out yet. You don't know what you're capable of. And you know what? Your parents could be really good advocates of you, but they don't know what you're capable of either. They really don't. And certainly your teachers don't. So what Andrea was saying, her teachers were saying, you know, I don't think you should apply for this because, you know, your marks aren't great. Well, you know what? She didn't know how to apply herself then. So someone was selling her short. I remember my high school math teacher taking me aside out in the hallways. And we were talking about the courses we were going to do the next year. You could do a full year calculus course, or you could do a course that was accelerated, so 2 courses in one. And he brought me aside and said, Jill, you know, I just don't think you're up for the accelerated calculus course. I just don't think, you know, I think you should go for the double course, you know. So I had the sense in that minute to think, whatever. I signed up for the accelerated course, and I was not applying myself, so I didn't, I barely went to class, but I wrote that exam, and I passed with a pretty good mark. So he should never have told me not to take it. He should never have sold me short. And at the same time, look what was happening in my personal life. You know, my parents weren't even around. Think big. So this comes a bit from Donald Trump, because he's the think big kind of guy. And there's lots of opinions about Donald Trump, but he is one of the most mentally tough human beings on the face of the earth. His skull is like a bulletproof, bone. He is so tough. So he ignores the negative. He has very little disruption and distraction in his head. That is true. He's published a book called Think Big. I read it, and it was really inspirational. So it is a time in your life when you're in high school to really allow those big thoughts to come in. I don't want to say dare to dream, because that's like a cliche, but would you like to be a surgeon? Would you like to be a lawyer? Would you like to be a doctor? Would you like to be an engineer? Make sure that that negative voice, those negative thoughts aren't eating away. Allow yourself to even think of something big. Because I really tell you that the people I went to high school with, my cohort, there is no way that anyone could have thought from their behavior or their track record or their grades in high school what they would have achieved 20 years later. They've become university professors, incredibly inspirational teachers and principals, engineers and business people, and I bet you that you couldn't vote on that when they were 16 years old. We didn't know. Now is the time to think big. It is true that you have very little to lose right now. When you get older and maybe married with 3 children and a mortgage, you have a lot to lose if you're just going to say, all right, I'm going to go to medical school. 45, but I'm going to go. No, you have a lot more to lose than when you're 16. The world hasn't made its mind up about you yet. I like that idea. It is true because you have a lot ahead of you. You have a lot of room for error, but you can really do it. And again, what I was saying, what would you like to do with your life? Now is the time not to limit those thoughts. You should have the biggest thoughts now that you ever did before. Try not to let that negativity eat away. So for me, I can say about when I learned to apply myself and really focus. So I finished my BSc at Dalhousie, and a very incredible mentor took me in under his wing, and I did a master's with him. And I worked in Australia, I worked in New Zealand, I went to Hawaii. I did the most incredible marine biology research that, would be on National Geographic. It was just fantastic. And then from there, I went to Uganda, and I had an incredible experience there. And then I had a full scholarship to go to Cambridge here, to King's College, and that was 3 of the best years of my life. I don't think I would have known when I was 15 that I would be going on a full scholarship to King's College, and pretty sure that my teachers and cohort wouldn't have thought I did either. So I want to say that anything is possible. It's not decided yet. So just really go for it. Yeah, sure. Anyone have any questions?
Do you have any questions for Jill?
It's the end of the day.
We got a question over here.
Hi, so this is actually just a comment in regards to even like reducing our exposure to media and social media. I think it's important for us to also be active in creating an alternative media and just having exposure to being able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're young, you have lots of energy. That's great to do it. Yeah.
Somebody else have a question?
Victor.
For Jill? There's Victor.
thanks for sharing that excellent theory. One of the things that many people share with us is how the way we communicate has changed. It's interesting, the comments on social media. I believe that social media has good, bad, and ugly. Your comments in terms of how now we need to communicate with our children, regardless of the age, which is different from how we did with our parents.
How we communicate with our children. I can't give parenting advice. My children are too young, But, well, I would say it's to spend time without distraction, right? Turning off the television and just spending time, maybe at your evening meal. Is that what you're talking about? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
You gotta just
Somehow without distraction. I know it's so difficult. It's so difficult.
Jill, what would you say to a mother that listens from a child at your children's age when they say, I don't like math, I cannot do this, I can't? What would you say to them?
Well, we have a daughter who's 8, and I've heard her say that a little bit. We just tell her immediately to stop it, that's nonsense, and what is it that you're having difficulty with? And we try our best then to sit down and help her with her homework, or what is it exactly you're having difficulty with? And we try to help her and then say, see, you can do it.
All right, here's a question for you, Jill. How did you come up with that method of studying in terms of, using a recorder, tape recorder, to take notes? How did that come about?
Tape recorders probably don't even exist anymore. Well, I just knew that I knew that there was so much being said that I couldn't even keep up with the notes. So I think getting that poor mark on my exam, I knew that there was a lot that I was missing. And so it really worked out. I think some people thought I was a little crazy, but I did it. Took a lot of effort.
Anybody else have any more questions for Jill? Thanks very much, Jill. That was very inspiring. Oops, we have one more question right here. Sorry, didn't see you there.
Hi, Jill. Besides the tape recorder, what else? What other tips could you give us so we can
Go to class, right? Turning up really helps. Like, I grew up with a pool table in my house, so I loved playing pool. My first year of class, we'd all go to a pool hall. There was class going on, and we'd be playing pool somewhere else. It was just turn up to class. That's the first step. And do the required reading and read the textbook. These are all basic things, but most people don't do them.
Did you get sometimes help from one of your classmates?
Well, when you're in university, it's very independent. You may not even know people in your class at all. So there are, though, help centers. So there's a math help center all the time. People in there, older students all the time. So I would say to go to those math help centers and writing help centers. Yeah, your co-students are too busy with their own lives. You may not even know them anyway.
One more here. It's a big theater.
Can I ask this question in Spanish? I am a mother, I'm a single mother, and my daughter is 13 years old, is in grade 8, and my son is in grade 9, and he's coming to the grade 10. And one of my questions is because I am a newcomer's my kids, and for me it's very difficult to know what kind of programs are here in this country. And
good when you getting those experience about your life. But for us, it's very hard because we don't have the first language is English, and for you, it was difficult to keep in the information about the conditions. For us, it's more hard.
Somebody younger might do. I mean, school guidance counselors, are they still the people to go to that would have all the information?
Just go talk into the mic, Stella.
As a community support worker with the Toronto Area School Board, we have a system where the lady over there, la señora, puede ir en primer lugar con settlement worker, o sea, un proceso de asentamiento donde la van a guiar está paso a paso, le van a hacer una evaluación de sus necesidades y de ahí se desarrolla un plan donde usted puede entonces integrarse de acuerdo a su dedicación y responsabilidad, porque según lo que usted necesite, ese es el plan que se desarrolla, pero hay que cumplirlo. Y para decirle eso, tenemos un settlement worker que está acá en la mesa de registro y ella es fantástica, la puede ayudar muchísimo. Okay.
Question right here.
The history of your life is great for me and interesting. Just I want to ask you, did you get married with the same man that you broke up?
No. And I went years, and I was very focused, I must say. I was very focused. I remember thinking, I have plans, I want to travel, I want to do this and that. And I remember thinking I didn't want to have a boyfriend because I didn't want anyone to get in my way at that time.
I like that.
No, I met my husband 3 weeks after landing here, honestly. I met him in the dining hall. So he was Canadian as well, and we were in England, and we were the only 2 Canadians in that little college. And I met him at dinner one night when he was coming out of the cafeteria tray. Yeah, I knew it, but he had a little smile on his face, and I remember thinking, I've seen him before. He's always in his nose, and that was something. Yeah, and it's true to this day. He's always yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions for Joel? No? Well, I'm going to turn it back over to Manuela. I just want to say a personal thanks to all the people that are looking after the kids, doing the child minding. That was very awesome to be able to sit here and listen. I wish my little guy would have went there, but he likes to be around. So back to Manuela.
Yeah, so let's give it a hand to Jill. That was amazing. We would really like to thank, quisiéramos agradecerle a todas las personas que llegaron el día de hoy. Thank you so much to Mr. Victor Garcia. He made it possible for all of the youth and children today to watch those wonderful movies. To Doña Estela, if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have this Congress of Education. To all of the speakers that came out today and to all the youth that were up in the panel, thank you so much for everything that you gave, because everything you gave was knowledge, and knowledge can be one of the best gifts you can have in life. So before we go, Scott, I think you should come up here. We're going to do a little something, a little activity.
I just wanted to say something a Manuelita. Cuando Manuelita dice que es la señora Estela Cuenca, la señora Cuenca puede pensar, puede soñar y puede tener la mente bien tough, como dicen la mental toughness. I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to get there. Move on. Stay out of the way. So I become bossy. and it's so difficult to deal with me, but my mind is there. And so it hurts when you see young girls in my school system, in my Canadian system, que ve las niñas preocupadas por cosas que en este momento capaz que nosotras, como dijo Jill, son simples, pero para ellas es un mundo de destrucción. Y un mundo de destrucción que les afecta en sus tareas, en su progreso, en su éxito. Stay out of the voice, like Jill. Just focus. You're gonna make it. And that note, cuando Manuelita dice que todo el congreso, que es gracias a la señora Cuenca, no. Yo puedo pensar, yo puedo organizar, yo puedo reclutar personas, pero que nos ayuden como voluntarios, pero ¿qué sucede? No hay congreso si no hay comunidad. Entonces todos ustedes son parte del congreso. Se levantaron temprano, planificaron ayer, no sé qué problemas pasaron, muchos vinieron sin desayunar, la comida fue muy poquitito, yo pensé que será más grande, pero no es, entonces eso ya será el año que viene, arreglamos de otra manera. En esa nota, gracias por hacer el congreso posible. Quiero agradecer. ¿Dónde está? ¿Se fue? Estos chicos básicamente, todos han sido el highlight, pero un abrazo para ellos y un aplauso para ellos.
And before we finish up, Scott, I think we should do a little activity. What do you think? So we're going to do something in Spanglish. But you have to come up here, Scott. I don't bite. I'm not going to earn. Vamos a decir también los números de los ganadores. Es el 39 61 56 0. The number is 3961560. El otro número ganador es 39 61 585. That was 39 61 585. Y el último número es 39 61 55 7. 39 61 55 7. So there we go. So today the Congress we did a little bit of Spanglish. So I thought to finish up, what if we say we play with the Spanglish? So we're gonna say education. Y ustedes tienen que decir es futuro, ¿ok? Con todas las ganas. 1, 2, 3. Education. Es futuro. Education. Es futuro. Education. Es futuro. Gracias por venir y no se olviden de eso.
We still need to give the other prize, because the winner may have. So just oigan el número y esperemos que haya.